Hey everyone, it's Rob Stanley with FeedbackWhiz, and today I got Tim Jordan from Private Label Legion, among other things. He also is an Amazon seller, does consulting. But Tim, I wanted to get you on the line today because, on this video, because a lot of people right now, they're at home, they're kind of stuck at home. We got all these Amazon sellers that are hopefully not watching Netflix all day. And our goal is to kind of help them out with this 4-part series I'm doing, and this is part 3. Basically some things they could do while they're at home to maybe help their business, because we're hoping this, COVID-19 virus thing will be over in the next couple months. So let's jump right into it. Tim, what kind of advice can we give them? And I know it's not just a one quick question or answer here, but what kind of things can they do to maybe help out and get ready for a couple months from now when things get better?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk lately about changes that are going on, how we react to them, what we do. I mean, it's so easy to be watching the news and get into panic mode and hear things coming out. Like last week, we saw the announcement that a lot of new shipments are being restricted, or that Amazon lending has been revoked to, I think, all sellers that I've talked to. So a lot of crazy stuff happening. It's easy to, feel like the sky is falling and the world is on fire. And what I've been working with my group on is trying to brainstorm things that we can do right now. If we can't go ship products, what can we spend our time doing? Right now is a really, really difficult time to do product research because search volumes are all skewed. A lot of the best sellers across most categories in Amazon are sold out. Yeah. So you might find a product you think is great and has low competition, but because the top 20 sellers have all stocked out. I was talking to some friends over at Sellers Funding that have really good data on sales. And as of last week, their customers are up 43% in sales over this time last year. So if you have product in inventory, it should be selling like crazy. Getting products in inventory has been tough. So, what can we do right now? There's a couple things that I want to touch on that are ideas for how to optimize your listing. All right. Now, these are things that in the everyday hustle and bustle of trying to sell products we might not get around to, but because we're forced right now to take a step back, take a breather, and go back and do some of the things that we might not normally do, I think it's a really good time to share this. So I've got 2 really good tips for you. And then I want to, after I do that, I want to talk a little bit about lending. All right. So first couple of things that I've really kind of discovered recently for myself, my own business, and also for my coaching community are PickFu. And we're going to use it in a little bit different way than we've seen before. And then the other one is Grammarly. I want to talk about Grammarly. So if it's all right with you guys, what I'd like to do is share a screen, and I'm going to kind of jump right into this.
Yeah, go for it.
So first thing is I just have a random LED lamp pulled up. And if you'll notice my screen here, I've got 2. I've got this one and this one that are basically very similar competitors. And what I did moments before we started recording is I started a poll, all right? And in PickFu, what it is, it's split testing. You can basically ask PickFu to run different tests for you. And most people use it for listing images, all right? Which image should convert best? Which of these lifestyle pictures do you like best? What most people that I've ever talked to have never done is a title, a listing title. So what I've done is moments ago, I started this poll. And you can see it was just started just moments ago. And usually you can get up to like 50 responses in 20 minutes. And what I did is I asked the question, which one of these titles makes you more likely to buy their lantern? Okay. Which lantern are you most likely to buy? And then all I did is copy and pasted this one and this one. Yep. Products are the exact same price. They essentially have the exact same details and design. And people are now voting on which title they like best. All right. So right now we've got 15 out of 50 responses. I'm only polling Amazon Prime members, and I've got double the responses for option B. Okay. Now what's really cool is people actually go through and they tell you why they like it. So people like this one because it's faster to understand. You see that the word lumens here. A lot of people are talking about lumens, right? 1,500 lumens. Has more lumens. This one's more powerful. So you could start to think to yourself, hey, that lumen idea is really popular, right? This guy, it has more things that it does. I can use this one in my car and not just the battery use. So both of these can actually plug into your car, but this one actually says it's car charger included. This one has a car charger. They just didn't list it in the title.
Yeah, so or show really, it in the image. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, really cool option here to use PickFu for titles. And I've never seen anybody teach this before. So I'm just going to refresh it. It's only been just a few minutes. Now we're up to 19. We were at 15. Now we're at 19. This is literally how fast this happens.
Yeah.
We're still pretty much double on option B. So I'm actually going to come back to this in a few minutes and we'll see. But here's the takeaway. If you're looking at your competitors, if you're researching your competitors and you see two that are doing well and wonder why one might be doing well, it doesn't cost much to run a PickFu contest or a PickFu split test and figure out why people like certain things. I love measuring twice and cutting once. All right. Yeah. When you set up a listing and you're writing your title, it matters. If your conversion rate only goes up 10% or your click-through rate goes up 10 or 20%, that's a big deal. So the small amount of money, use like $50 to run a split test to 50 people. It's well worth the money. And right now is a good time to sit back and analyze that. Another thing that people are doing right now is analyzing their own listings. So right now I'm analyzing 2 other people. But if I can't figure out if I need to go with a long title or a short title, you know, I'm going to make sure that my top 3 or 4 keywords are in either way, but long title, keyword stuff to short title. Put that up in a PickFu poll, run 2 different title options and figure out what more people are likely to buy. We know that people keyword stuff for optimization and for indexing, that's not always necessary. A lot of times people just want a simple looking title. But instead of us guessing and trying to change the title and figure out if our sales grow up or down, like that's pretty risky, right? Like we can get de-indexed, we can get reclassified sometimes. And sometimes the data isn't correct because sales may be affected for a different reason. We think it's because we changed our title. So run a PickFu test. The other thing is, I can say this for myself, I am not the most grammatically correct. Rob, are you pretty good with grammar?
No, I'm terrible at it too. Trust me.
If I sit and analyze, I'm pretty good. I could be a grammar Nazi if I need to be. But my problem is I'm usually working so fast and multitasking, I mess things up. Yep. So one of the best free tools for listing optimization that I found recently is Grammarly. All right, Grammarly is a free tool, super, super easy. You download it as a Chrome extension, and I'm going to show you how I would use that. So I'm just going to pretend this is my listing, okay? So what I do is I'm going to just copy and paste some bullet points in here. This one's pretty good. No issues found. Let's check this guy. Actually, let's go to another
sentence, yeah.
Yeah, another sentence. And let's check it. Post it in here and check it. Analyzing.
There's some already, yeah.
Yeah, so what it does is it actually makes suggestions for you, okay? This should not provides you the enough brightness. Yeah. 360 degrees should actually be hyphenated, right? And if you actually move up to like a paid version, it'll actually go really deep into syntax errors and things like that. But It's funny how many of these little stupid errors that we put in our listings and don't even realize we're doing it. And look, all I'm doing is copy and pasting somebody else's listing in here. It's analyzing, it's checking, but go back and do your own, right? Yeah. Go back and do your own listing. Every listing that you have, go through and check it. Another really long version or long format you can do are product descriptions. That listing didn't even have one. Yeah. So like this guy, let's take.
Unless it's an image. There you go.
And you guys can see that he has A+ content, so he's brand registered. It doesn't matter if you are or not.
Yeah, exactly.
I can already see one. It shouldn't start with and. Oh, look, that's an extreme error. They want me to go with the premium version, but still, we can go through and we can find all these things. So my point is, when you're sitting in downtime, use some of these really inexpensive or free tools to check your listing. I can't tell you how many errors I found in my grammar with Grammarly. And at one point, I actually bought the premium, which you get a lot, and it's like $12 a month. It's super cheap. Yeah. And you get like really, really good suggestions on how to reformat entire sentences and entire strings of text instead of just looking for grammatical errors. So it's free. Turn off Netflix for an hour, go through all your listings, copy and paste your bullet points, your description. Your title isn't going to be grammatically correct anyways, but look for typos in there and just pump it into Grammarly and see what it kicks back at you. Now, real quick, I just want to go back to PickFu. And let's refresh it and see what we have. This is how fast this happens.
Yeah, should be more data.
Yeah, so lots and lots of data here. So
Yeah.
continue going through this. It's still only at 19. We went through a couple minutes with nothing, but I think you guys get the point. And the other cool thing is you can get in here and see age ranges. So if you're targeting, a specific audience or specific gender, you can see which version they prefer. So long story short, quick tips. PickFu, Grammarly. PickFu's inexpensive. Grammarly's free unless you go to the premium. Check your listings. Make sure you're indexing correctly. Make sure that you're using the correct keywords. Again, don't go too deep into keyword research because all the data is skewed right now. And over the past 3 or 4 weeks, Amazon has actually reclassified a lot of products. So a lot of the keyword research tools are trying to play catch up. But do what you can. And there's a lot that you can be doing right now.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to that is, I mean, we're both friends with PickFu, and they're great guys over there. And there's so many possibilities of testing. And it's not just A/B. You can do A, B, C, D. I mean, you could do a bunch of different products against each other, but also use it. Look at what people have written. Sometimes if you put, like, say, your own product with 2 different titles, 2 different descriptions against each other, they may say they like certain things on one or not on the other, or, hey, this is missing. But, maybe that they like A, but there's certain things missing from it that they like from B. Now you can take the 2 and maybe put them together. I'm mainly probably talking more about description, but you could take some of the descriptions that you wrote on A and B and put them together and make kind of like a master one. And then that's a great way to find also, like, what are you missing? Like I noticed when we were looking at some of the suggestions, one of them said something about rechargeable battery was essential for them. Maybe if you're looking at buying that product, let's say that lantern we were just looking at, and you're thinking about buying it, you might want to A/B test it and see what people say on certain features they like or certain they don't. So when you go to your factory to buy it, you can say, hey, I want to make sure it has a rechargeable battery. I want to make sure that it has the plug-in for the car. I mean, maybe those are 2 features that people absolutely want that you can make sure that when you order it from your supplier, you have it. So yeah, there's a lot you can do with that. That's 2 great tools that people have not mentioned. Again, A/B testing with PickFu is very cheap. Get a hold of them and, pickfu.com and Grammarly. I mean, you can find that anywhere. That's pretty much everywhere. And those are 2 essential tools. Well, I really appreciate it. And let's let everybody know, at least on your Facebook group, how they can get on your Facebook group and the name of the Facebook group.
Yeah, the group is Private Label Legion. Just search Private Label Legion on Facebook and you'll find the group. And before we shut down, do you want me to talk about the loan issues that we ran into last week?
Yeah. Give them some info. Now we are shooting this about a week before it comes out, but hopefully everything's probably still being addressed at that time. But tell them a little bit of what's going on with these loan issues.
Yeah, so back around March 19th, March 18th and March 19th, we found out 2 things. One is Amazon has stopped offering loans. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you had a loan offered in Seller Central, it's probably gone. I say that based on about 60 or 70 people that confirmed they were gone. Nobody said they still had one offered. That's a problem because a lot of people right now, especially as they're, ramping up into the more busy season summer, and also sales, if you've run an inventory a little bit lower, you may need to access some capital. Without those Amazon loans, you may be in trouble. The second thing that's happened is Amazon's loan terms of service states that if you drop below a certain threshold of sales or a certain threshold of available inventory, they can default your loan. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, right now, a lot of people are running out of stock because of supply chain issues that started 2 or 3 months ago in China and have been exacerbated by the fact that Amazon last week started restricting inbound shipments. Okay. So a lot of people are waking up and realize their sales have dropped and their inventory has dropped to a point that Amazon could default on those loans. So there's been a lot of talk recently. On March 19th, Reuters ran a story that I helped them with that basically brought this to the attention of Amazon. And by the time, Raleigh puts this out, there may be a fix that Amazon's offering. But I will say this, either make sure that Amazon is giving some leeway on the default capabilities of those loans based on things that are out of our control. We can't ship inventory in. Another option is the SBA has just been given a mountain of money from the federal government. Yeah. And if your books are in order and if you've been in business for at least a year and it's not, you're not running this just an Amazon business, like it has to look legitimate to the government too, and the way these books are done, everything, you may be eligible for a very inexpensive SBA loan. I know some people this past week that were applying in Florida and a couple other states that were allowing you to open that up. That's a little bit more difficult. Like I said, you might have to have 1 or 2 years of completed tax returns, have your all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. Another option that may be better for you is seller's funding. Sellers Funding is doing something really cool. They offer loans based on your Amazon performance. So you just grant them access into your Amazon account, and they go in and they check your inventory levels, your past sales, and they're taking into consideration the lack of ability to send an inventory. And they are usually within 12 to 24 hours giving basically like a line of credit offer to you that will replace Amazon's lending. It's about the same price usually as Amazon's lending. It's cheaper than places like Cabbage. Another thing Sellers Funding's just done is they're now offering 90 days interest only, which means you have 90 days of just paying a little bit of interest so that you can get over this inventory hump. So you can go ahead and buy inventory, you can wait for it to get shipped in, and then start paying back your balance. So check out Sellers Funding. I heard yesterday, so as I'm recording, so I heard on the 19th that Payoneer has stopped offering loans too. I know a lot of people are getting inventory loans from Payoneer, and they've withdrawn that silently. Nobody knows what's up with that. So check out SBA. Check with Amazon and see if they're giving any sort of assistance, just doing interest-only loans or letting you push off loan payments. They may or may not be doing that, and it may be a case-by-case basis. And the third option is check with Sellers Funding. If you're at risk of defaulting on your Amazon loan, you can refinance the Sellers Funding, or if you just need capital to buy inventory, check out Sellers Funding. You can get that that loan offer usually in 12 or 24 hours after you apply.
There you go. There's some great information from Tim Jordan. I really appreciate your time on this. Thanks, Tim. And everybody check out Tim. He's available all over social media. It's Tim Jordan. Just take a look and you'll find him. Thanks, Tim.
All right. Take care.